Hello fashion people. So we're going to learn how to make beautiful jacket with a Queen Anne's neckline. In the course of this tutorial, it has a welt pocket by the side and two buttons at the center front. So we are going to be doing the cutting and the sewing in this video. Please stay tuned. It's going to be a freehand tutorial and we are going to be doing an instant finishing for it. It has a 360-degree finishing. So I'm going to be showing you how to achieve an instant finishing too in the course of this video. So you can see how the inside is. It's neatly concealed at the two sides. So I'll show you how to achieve this. Alright. So we are going to be starting with the making of the back. We'll be drafting the back. So to that I folded my African print 22 and I'll be using my starting point line. So I'm going to be starting. So because of the nature of the neck, I'm going to be coming down from this line by 3 inches. I'm going to coming down by 3 inches. So now this is going to be my main starting point line. This is going to be for the extension of the neck area. So to this, I'll be using a neck width of 2.25 and also a neck depth of 2.25. So to this, I'll be squaring it up first. This is our neck width and neck depth of 2.25. And shoulder divided by 2, that's giving me, this is 2.25. Yeah. And then I'm going to be marking my shoulder width of 8.325. Use 1.5 inch for my shoulder slope. I'm down by 1.5 inch for my shoulder slope and then I'll connect it to the tip. So this is it. And then I'll be creating my armhole line. Bust divided by 6. I'm working with a bust of 40.5. So 40.5 divided by 6 plus 2 inch, that is 8.75. So to that measurement, I'll be adding extra 1 inch to it because I want it to be free. It's not, it's a jacket, so I want it to be free around that armhole area. So I'm adding an extra 1 inch to it. That will be giving me 9.75. So I'll mark my 9.75 like this. So I'm going to be extending this measurement. This is what I have here. I'm going to bring it down here to have a straight line, so I can be able to connect them together to get my armhole curve. Then to this, I'll connect the two dots together like this, and I'll square this out. Automatically this becomes our bust area. So it's going to be a free jacket. So to this bust area, I'm doing my bust divided by 4 inches. So my bust 40.5 divided by 4, that should be giving me 10.125. So this is 10.125, and to this I'm adding an extra 1.25 inches. So you want this to be a free jacket. So this is 10.125. So if I add an extra 1.25 to it for it to be free, this becomes our bust area. So I'll be measuring the have this is the front, this is the back. I'll that for the back first. Now we have back half length and front half length. Because I'm going to be using this to draft out the front, I'll just mark out the differences there. So for the back half length is 16.5 and the front half length is 17.5. There's a difference of 1 inch. Sorry, I mean the back half length is 16 inches and the front is 17.5. There's a difference of 1.5 inches. So I'll be marking my full length. The full length of the jacket is going to be a long jacket. So the full length is 29 inches. So I'll mark my 29 inches. And to the 29 inches, I'm adding an extra 1.5 inches for the hemming allowance. So this is my 1.5 inch. So automatically it's now 30.5. So I'll place the same measurements this way. 16 inches for the back half length, 17.5 for the front half length, and then 29 inches for the full length and extra 1.5 making it 30.5. Then I'm going to be just extending my lines out. Maybe let me just leave this indication so that it not get confusing. I don't know if it's going to get confused when I draw the two lines, but let me just draw it and indicate it. So this is our back half length BHL. And then this is our front half length FHL. I hope it's clear. And then I will extend the full length. So to the waist area, I'm going to be doing my waist divided by 4, by 4 inches. That's giving me 9.5. So to 9.5, I'll be adding an extra 1.25. So the essence of this back half length is because I'm going to be taking out a dart here. I want the back to be slopey first, but I'm going to use this pattern to cut out the front before I will do the alteration at the center back. That's why I just indicated this time. So it's not that it's going to be a join at the waist area, just for the slantiness of the back. That's why I measured out the back half length. So I'm going to be placing that here, my waist measurement divided by 4. This is at the front half length plus an extra 1.25. This is for ease. Now I'm going to connect the lines together like this. Then let's drop that our armhole. So I'm going to be finding out the midpoint of this line. I want to fold my tape into to get the midpoint. And then to the midpoint, by I'm going to be going in by half of an inch or 0.75. Going to go in by 0.75 inches and I'll connect it together. But because this is going to be a sleeveless jacket, I'm going to be reducing this too. And this upper part, I'm going to be reducing it by 0.75 as well. And then I'll connect this to this. Connect it one after the other. And then so this is what we have. This is going to be our armhole curve. This is armhole curve here. I'm just going to clean this out. So we're going to be using. So this is it. And then to the full length, I'll be placing my hip divided by 4 inches. I hope you can see it. This is the full length. I'll be placing my hip divided by 4. So I'll place it at the full length. This is extra 1.5 inches added to the full length for hemming allowance. So this is my 10.5, and I'll add my 1.25 inches for ease, and I'll extend that all the way to the hem. So to this, I'm going to be connecting it to the waist, to the half length. So this is how what it's looking like. And then to this, I'll be adding my sewing allowances now. So I'm using sewing allowance of 1 inch. I can still the same 1 point. Let me do 1 inch. We're going to be considering it. So I'll do a sewing allowance of 1 inch or 1 inches. So this is so now I'm going to be altering the neck area to get the the neck curve, that's screen and neckline. So to this, no, we came down from here by about 3 inches. So from this, I'm going to be extending it by 2.5. I'm going to be extending it upward by 2.5. 2.5, and I'll connect this line. I have a straight line here, and then for the neck width, it still remains the same 2.5. Still remains 2.5 inches. So to this, I'll just get the cuff part of my ruler, and I'll just connect it like this. So I'll just connect it like this. This is our main and neckline now. So this is it. Neckline. It's going to start from here. You know, if not for this type of neckline, this was meant to be our normal neckline. Just to do our normal drafting. Just come down here by 1 inch and connect connect it to this point like this to be the back neckline. So because of this, we are now going to be using this as our new neckline. So this is going to be off. I'm going to be raising this, and then from here I'm going to come down from here by half of an inch or 0.75 inches like this, and then just connect it this way to the tip. So this is all for our back drafting. So now I'm going to be adding our necessary sewing allowances today. No, I'm not cutting this on pattern on paper. So I'm going to be adding the necessary sewing allowance to it, and that should be all. So for the center back, for this back half length, you can decide to go in here by half of an inch like this, just to have that slant at the back half length, and then you connect it to the tip of it like this. You can connect this to the tip to have this slant like this. I have this plant like this, and then all the way to the full length. It's going to be like a style line at the center back, and also give that make an emphasis at the waist area at the half length of the back. Just gives you that fine look. So you can start to go with this, or if you don't want this style line, you can just work with what we had before. You get. So to this, I'm going to be adding my sewing allowances. So for this, I'll be doing half of an inch here. So I'll just add an extra half of an inch. So this like this. So I'll just add my sewing allowances like this. So this is going to be half inch. Just the normal sewing allowances you add if you're cutting on pattern, if you're cutting on paper. So this is going to be sewing allowance, and then so this also I've added my half inch. For the armhole, I'm also going to be adding half of an inch. So I've already added half of a 1 inch just my sewing allowance at the side already. And this is, I'll be cutting this out, and I'm using it to cut out the front. So for me, I'll be leaving this first because I'm going to use this button to cut out the front. After I've done cutting out the front, I can now cut out this style line. Or because I did not add the sewing allowance, I will just leave it, and when I'm sewing, I'll just trace sew it like this. I'll just use the same line to sew it out since I did leave an extra fabric at the center. So I'll leave, when I'm sewing it, I will run my stitch at the same line. You see the same thing. So I'll just run my stitch that way, and to give that extra look at the center back. So I folded my fabric into two, and I'll introduce the back pattern to this. This is the back pattern. So I'm going to be leaving some space at the front because there's going to be a button down at the front. So this is what my pattern is looking like. So I'm going to extend this front half length to the front like this, and also the full length as well. And then this is where the back and neckline started. This is for our shoulder, and this is where the mark and neckline started before we went in by half of an inch. Before we did the alteration at the neck area for the back by 0.75. So I just extended it, and this is for the shoulder slope, and this is for the half length. So now what we're going to be doing is that I want it to overlap at the front by 1.25. So I'm going to be extending this 1.25 all the way to the full length. So it's going to be breaking even at, from the half length I'm going to go up by, let me do by 4.5 inches from the half length, or you can use your nipple to nipple, but I want it to be somehow below my nipple, my shoulder to bust point. And use your bust point for it, like short your bust point to be the break even where the collar is going to end for the extension of the button. I hope you get what I'm saying. But I want it to be below the bust point, so I'm going to be using from my from this shoulder area is going to be 13.25. I want to from my half length by 4.5, so that's what I'm going to be using. And then I'm going to be connecting, marking my 1.25 for my button on this point as well. So I'm going to be connecting it with a straight line all the way to the hem. So this is it. And then the next thing, this is where my hand started. I'm going to just mark, make a point here. This is for the mark hand, and from here half inches inward. You know, we have done our seam allowances for the back, so this is where the seam allowance started, and this is the half inch where the 2.5 inches started. From here to here, when I lift it up, it's going to be here. Hope you're following what I'm saying. Then I'm going to just extend this line this way, just make it, just extend it like so. And then I'm going to be connecting from here all the way to this break even point. Hope you are understanding what I'm saying. So this is it. I'm going to mark it this way. So I'm going to introduce my curved ruler. I'm going to make it from here, it's going to be curvy, and then bring it downwards. Then bring it downward like this. So this is it. This is how it's going to be looking. So let me just trace out this so that you can see what we have. Just trace out this neckline, and then shoulder, and then this is the armhole. Every other thing remains the same. I just altering the front. Just trying to trace it so you can see what we have. So this is how our neckline is looking like. So it's going to be like this. So this is it. So the next thing, I'm going to be adding a sewing allowance of half inch to this curve all the way to the full length, because this is where your body is going to be sitting, but we need half of an inch to turn, to be able to turn this edge, you get. So I'll be adding my half of an inch from here all the way to the full length. And I should still trace it out with the sewing allowance. So I'm not adding sewing allowance to this. So this is what we have. Starting point line. This is where the half of an inch of the back went up to. So now I'm going to be cutting out this for the back. So now we can now cut out the front. But first of all, let's cut out the sides first. Since the side has started, like it still remains the same. We cut out the side, then we can now cut out the center front. So now I can now cut out the front. So I'll leave this up and I'll cut it like this. So I'll just place a notch at the half length. It's going to be a guide when sewing. I'll just place a notch at the half length and also at this full length. And then this is it. So I'll go over to cutting of my lining piece for them and then we'll start our sewing proper. A fabric for my welt pocket now. So just draw a line like this and then I will be measuring out like I'll be measuring 6.5 inches depth. I have a video on this channel how to make a welt pocket and check that out. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to join this two here. So I have a length of 6 inches and I'm going to be having the width to be 7 inches like this. And then to this I'll be cutting this out. Let me just take out for the other. I need two pieces of fabric. So for the second piece, I'm going to be having this to be, let me say 9 inches. Let me do, so having this to be 10 inches length for the second piece of fabric I'll be cutting. That is going to be 10 inches length. And then can make the width to be 8 inches like this. So I'll be cutting them out now. The two pieces that I need for my welt pocket. So I'm using this to create the welt pockets. I'm going to be doing one welt pocket at one side. So you can try to do two. If you are doing two welt pockets, you're going to be cutting two extra piece. One extra piece of this. So now the next thing I'm going to do on this smaller piece, I'm going to be coming down from here. I'm going to be coming down by 2 inches from the tip from here. 2 inches is fine. So I came down by 2 inches from here and I'll connect it together like this. And then from this I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch and the midpoint of this 1 inch is half inch, so I'll just mark the midpoint as well. So 1 inch, the midpoint is half inch. 1 inch, the midpoint is half inch, and I'll do my lines together. I also rule these midpoints like this. So I rule the midpoint and I rule this. So this here is 1 inch and this is the midpoint. So now I'm going to, you know that the width of this fabric is 6.5 inches. That means I want this to be, I want the west pocket to have a space of 5 inches. want to be 5 inches. So this is 6.5. Means I have like 1.05 at the two sides. So I'll mark out my 5 inches now. So I want it to be 5 inches, and then I'll roll this down. I'll roll this down like this. I'll roll this down like this. So this is easiest way to make a wet pocket. So here's 1 inch. Here's the midpoint of the 1 inch, and the space from here to here is 5 inches. So I want the width pocket to have a space of 5 inch. I make it 5.54 inches. So this is going to be our width pocket, and then I'm going to be getting my front, the front fabric. So I've also gone ahead to cut out the lining pieces of this. So this is for the back, and this is the lining. So the lining is in shortage of 1 inch from the full length. I added half of an inch for sewing allowance, but for the front from the full length is 1.5 inches for the hemming allowance. That means the back is short by 1 inch. I use the same thing for the front. This is the back, and this is our front. So this is the wrong side for this side as well. So I'll just indicate the wrong sides of the material. So I'll keep the lining piece one side, and I'll be opening up the front piece like this. So this is the right side. So I want to create my welt pocket at this side. So this will be like this when I'm done sewing. So I want to create the welt pocket at this side. Yes. So I'm going to, this is my full length. So I'm going to just mark the full length from the hemming allowance is 1 inch. This is our full length, and then it's our half length. I notched the half length here. So from the half length, I try to come down by 5 inches. So I'm going to come down by 4.5 inches from the half length. This is where I'm going to be placing doing the welt pockets by 4.5 inches, and then to that I'll be using my spatula to just roll it this way. So make sure your line is straight, but that's where you're going to be attaching your welt pocket. And you know, he added 1 inch for our sewing allowance. So I'm going to mark that 1 inch so I can indicate where I want it to start from. And from here it's like we did half of an inch. This is the bottom area. This is half of an inch, and then 1.25 for the bottom. So I'm just trying to get where I want it to start from. So I want it to be, so from here I'm going to be going in by 1.75 from the side. 1.75, and this is where our waist pocket is going to be. From here to here the 5 inches. So here we're going to be sewing our waist pocket. So what I'm going to be doing is that I'm going to pick up this fabric that I showed I showed us. So here, this is the right side of the fabric, and this is the wrong side. This is the wrong side. So this is right side. I'm going to be placing it this way. So this is the right side of my main fabric as well. So this is the wrong side facing the right side now. So I'm just going to make sure this line and this aligns. So I'm just going to make it this way, and this line and this midpoint aligns. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just going to place it this way, and I'll use my pin to hold it down. And now I'm going to be going over to our sewing machine. So we're heading over to our sewing machine now to sew this down. And with this, so I'm going to be going over to the sewing machine to form our waist pockets now. Just make sure that this your line is straight up, so that your pocket will not be slant. Just make sure that the straight line that the line you drew here is straight. Okay, make sure it's straight. And let's go over to our sewing machine. So now pin it down. I'm pinning it down on my sewing machine now. So I'm going to run a stitch this way. I'm going to run a stitch like this. And also a straight stitch at this middle point as well. So I'm just going to run a stitch all around this way. So now I'm done stitching it down. So the next thing is that I'm going to, you can see I've sewn it down. So the next thing I'm going to be cutting this open. So I'll just pinch it like this. I'm going to cut it open at the middle or the middle line. So I'm going to pinch it up this way, and with my scissors I'll be cutting it through. So I'll just cut it this way, and then I'll place my scissors inward and I'll take it all the way here. So when I get to almost to the point, I'm just going to cut diagonally upward just to the tip of the first line. Look and see what I'm doing. And then also cut it diagonally like this. Don't cut through your stitch, just cut very close to it. Just very close to your stitch. And then I'll flip it over this way and I'll cut this side as well. And then when I'm getting to the end, I'll cut diagonally this way as well, and then I'll cut this way. So I will turn it back to the former position. So the next thing, this is our hole. So what next? I'm going to be flipping this inward. Just take it, flip it inward this way, take it into the hole. This piece as well, take it, just take the whole thing, pass it into the hole like this. Take it into the hole like this. So this is what we have now. This is the front, and then this is how the back is. So I just turn this over this way. So the next thing, I'm going to go to my ironing table. So I didn't cut this side very well. So this is what we have. I'm going to go to my ironing table. I'm going to press it down, and then when I press it down, the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to get, this is the wrong side now, so I'm just going to fold like from here 0.2, and then you just take out 0.25 from the main fabric, from the fabric you tucked in. Okay, that's what I'm trying to explain here. You get 0.25 inch of the fabric you folded in. Also do the same thing for this other side. So you're going to get out 0.25 inches from the fabric you folded. You know that's the width. Okay, that's going to be half inch, not 0.25. Know that the width of this is 1 inch. So you're going to get 0.5 inches for the upper part and 0.5 inches for the upper part to cover up that hole. So you're just going to pinch out 0.5 inch, not 0.25, I'm sorry, 0.5 inch. Pinch it out this way. Make sure they're equal, like the upper part is 0.5 inch and the lower part is 0.5. So they're going to be meeting at the center point. And so this is a center point line that I drew. Can still see the marking here. So that can be a guide. And then this side too, 0.5 inches. So this is meant to be covering up the hole. This fabric is making it not visible very well. So this is what I have. The pattern of the fabric is making it not to be visible to my camera very well. But this is what I have. So just pin 0.5 inch upward and 0.5 inch down. Make sure that they are not overlapping here. They should just be equal. The mouth should just be equal like this, not overlapping on any one. The upper one should not be overlapping on the lower one. Actually, the lower part is overlapping on the upper part. Make sure that they adjust it like this. and then you can just press it down. But let's continue. So I'm going to be introducing the second piece of fabric that we have. So I'm going to open this up first. Just watch what I'm going to be doing closely. Watch closely. This is easiest way to make your welt pocket. So this is what I have. Make sure they're not overlapping each other. And the next thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to open this up this way. I'm going to lift this up. You can see what I have here. So this thing I have here is folded because I folded this in by half-inch here and half-inch here. So it's like this. It's like a plate. So I'm going to hold this with this diagonal cutting that we did earlier. So I'm just going to fold this way and make sure that it's straight. And I'm going to be running a stitch. You can see this line, this stitch that we ran earlier. So I'm going to run a stitch just to hold the whole piece together. Let me repeat what I said. So this is the fabric. This is our pocket. Lift this up, the main fabric, lift it up this way, take it to one side just to see, and then you'll be seeing what we have underneath. And then I'm going to run a stitch to hold this down like this. And when I'm done, I'll go over to this side, leave this side up as well, and I'll run a stitch to hold it down this way. So I'm stitched here, so I'll go over to this side. So this is what we have after I'm done sewing it down at the two ends. So I'll advise to iron it first before sewing it down. If this is going to be your first time sewing a welt pocket, but just that I'm used to it, that's I'm sewing it straight. But I'll still go to my pressing table to iron it down. But if you are new, please work with your iron. To have a perfect welt pocket, that's working with your iron closely. So this is what I have now. So I'm going to go over and flip it over to the wrong side now. So this is the wrong side. This is the wrong side now. And I'll be introducing the second piece of fabric. So for the second piece of fabric, this is the right side and this is the wrong side. So I'll just indicate that. So this is the wrong side. And so I'll be placing, this is the wrong side of my material now. This is the wrong side, you can see. So I'll be placing the right side over it this way. But I'm trying to make our pockets now. And I'll be flipping it over like this. This is the right side. So I can able to sew it down. So I'm still going to sew it down like this. If you don't have a weaving machine, you can just wrap it up. So this is the second piece of fabric. This is the shorter one. So you can just use this bigger one and just wrap it up this way. Just fold it in the edge by half of an inch and sew it down. Remember, this fabric extended to the upper part. You can see where the shorter fabric began. So my pattern is making, as I say, it's not visible, but you can see what I'm showing you. So this is the first one we attached where it started, and this is the second piece of fabric I just introduced now. As extended upward. So I'm just going to wrap it up this way, and I'll sew it down as well. So I didn't know this was not like recording, so I folded here and I sewed it down, and for the full length I reduced it, so it's now like from the welt pocket, so I'm having it to be like almost 4 inches length. So I folded it and I sewed it this way. So I'm going to paint the same thing for this side. So to this other end, so I'm just going to take this side this way. I also fold it in like this. So let me just reduce it a little. So I'll fold here like this too, and I'll sew it down as well. So also at this starting point, I'm also going to also at this starting point, I'm also going to do the same thing. I'll wrap it up this way and I'll sew it down as well. So as you can see, we're done sewing our waist pocket, and this is it. So this is our now our waist pocket. So this is how it is. So the 5 inches can enter one's hand, the width. So I'm going to be ironing it down, and this is how the wrong side is. How the wrong side is. So this is all for the making of the world pocket. So now I'm going to be getting the other piece of fabric, and I'm going to be joining them together. So I'll introduce the back fabric now. So this is the second part of the front. Second part of the front. Second part of the front. So this is the back. So I'll go ahead and sew this up. See this is slant that we give at the center back. Hope you can remember. So I'll go ahead and sew it up, and then I will start joining it to the front piece. So this is the back. I'm done sewing the back now. I'm sewing down at the center back. So I'll be doing the same thing on the lining piece as well, and then I'm going to be getting the front piece. So this is the front piece. This is the front piece. I'm going to align this, and I'm going to be mashing up the shoulder. I'm going to be sewing down the shoulder by half of an inch. We give one half of an inch there. I'm going to be sewing that up, and I'm also going to be sewing the other side as well. And we're matching it right sides facing each other. And for this too, I'm going to be sewing down by half of an inch at the side as well. And I'll do the same thing for the lining piece as well. So this is what it looks like. I have joined it at the shoulder. I see I'm joining it at the shoulder. And this is for the center. This is center back. And this is also for the lining piece. I do the same thing for the lining piece. So this is the center back, and this are the shoulders. So the next thing I'm going to be introducing this lining to it. So I'm going to be placing it right sides facing each other. So I'm going to be mashing it up this way. I'm going to be matching it up this way. This is center back. I'm going to be working with my pin. So I'm going to pin it down this way. Just make sure the center backs are aligned. I'm going to be opening this up. So I'm going to be pressing down this seam open. So just open up this stitch and I'll pin it down like this. Then I'll take this over to the front and I'll mash it up this way. So I'll be opening up this seam. So for this shoulder joining, this join at this shoulder, I can start to trim it off. So because here is slant to reduce the bulkiness, so let's trim it off first before we can continue. This is where I join the center. This is the neck area for the front, as you can see how curved it is. This is the back. I'm just going to be trimming off this joint at the shoulder area because we leaving it like this to make it lay flat because it's bulky. It's bulky at this area, so I'm just going to trim it off like this, just close to the stitch, but I'll not be cutting it through. And I'll be doing the same thing for the fabric for the African prints. I'm just going to trim it out. And I'll be doing that for this second shoulder as well. So I'll keep on aligning it. So this is the shoulder. I'll align it together and I'll pin it down. Mommy. So this is the armhole area. And I'll go ahead and sew it down by half of an inch. So this is the armhole area. I'll be using my pin to hold them down. Hope you're still following. If you have any question, can drop it in the comment section. I will attend to you. Or you can send it to my Instagram page as Glorious Sewing. The link is on the channel already. So please do it to check that out. First of all, I joined here by half of an inch. Then next time matched up the shoulder by half of an inch, the two sides as you can see. Then the next thing I did is to turn the armhole area by half of an inch for the two sides. And also I went ahead to sew the center front by half of an inch, as you can see with the lining. Sew it up by half of an inch. The hem area I sew it up by half of an inch. So I'm just trying to run you through what to do with your piece of fabric. And also at the hem area of this half of an inch, this is the two front piece, and for the back as well I sewed it up by half of an inch. So now I'm going to be showing you how to do the inseam finishing. So to do the inseam finishing, all you need is to bring up this piece. So I'm going to be aligning these two together like this, lining to lining, African print to African print. I'm just going to align it this way. So here I'm trying to pin the lining to lining for this side. So just be using work with your pin. When you hold the two pieces together, use your pin to hold it down. You do the same thing for the African print side. Just carefully be turning it. You're going to be sewing it round, you get. So but it's going to be lining to lining, fabric to fabric, right side facing each other. And then over to the hem, I'm going to hold the hem, make sure that the hem align, hold it down as well. And then we're going to sew it down by 1 inch. Remember, it's 1 inch that we use for our seam allowance the while cutting out the jacket. So after pinning it, then I'm going to go over and sew it down by 1 inch. So here I'm done holding it down, and I put my hand from the other side, and I'm just going to take out the other part, that's the part already pinned down. So I'll just pull it out from the other side, and then I'll head over to my sewing machine to sew it down. So this is how it is now, and I'm just going to mash it up round. And then for the other side, we'll also be doing the same thing, but just that for the other side, it's not going to be fully covered because that's the only hole that we have left to get. So just watch what I'm doing. So now I'm done sewing it down by the 1 inch. I'll flip it over to the other side, the right side, and this is how the right side is looking like. This is for the side seam. And see, this is our welt pocket here. So this is how the front is looking, and this is how the wrong side is. So it's an inseam finishing for this side, and then we are going to be repeating the same thing for this side. So this one I already sealed out the hole for the other side. So to do the inseam finishing for this one, it's not going to be inseamed. Like, just watch and see what I'm going to be doing. So so for this side, I'm still going to do the same thing, aligning the main fabric to the main fabric and the lining to the lining piece, and I'll start sewing it down by the one. And then I'm going to move over to this lining part, but keep on aligning it. So because there's no space for turning it, so I'm going to be leaving a small space at the lining side, which I'm going to be using to flip it over to the right side. We have already concealed the side seam for the other. So for this side, I'm going to be as concealed at the other side. So just watch and see, I'm going to be sewing it. So I'm just going to make sure I match this up to a. So I'm going to keep on mashing this up, line to lining, fabric to fabric, to a point where I cannot mash it up again. Like, there will be a tiny hole by this side where I'm going to be using to turn it over to the right side. We already turned for the other side, so this is the only space left to get. So I'm just going to be pinning. That's why I'm making sure that the space I believe is going to be on the lining part, not on the African prints part. So make sure that you pin your African pins very well. You're sewing it down by 1 inch, and the space you're going to be leaving to turn it out is going to be on the lining, on the lining piece you get. So now I'm going to be sewing this down by 1 inch, and the remaining space I'll use that to turn it out. So I'm done sewing this. I'll just flip it over to the right side like this. So this is what I'm trying to say. This is the hole we have at the lining side. So you can either pinch it and sew it down, or you can use a hemming gum to hold it down, and that is it. This is what we have after I'm done ironing it. You can see the neck area, how smooth it's lying, and this is it, the full length. How the full length is. So when I open it up, you can see it's a 360-degree inseam finishing. So this here is the side that I left some space. So I can try to tack it down like this and just stop stitch it here to cover it up. I can use a hemming gun for it as well. I can use a hemming gun. This is what our jacket is looking like. So next thing, I'm going to be attaching my button. I'm going to be creating this is our waist pocket. This is how the waist pocket is looking. So this is the waist pocket here. And then I'm going to be attaching my button. I'm going to using two buttons for it. I can put it this way. Maybe I can turn it this way. I'll just attach two buttons to it like this, and our jacket is ready. Please don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, the notification bell on to get notified when I upload a new video. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And I will see you in my next class, my next tutorial. Until then, remain blessed. But I'll try and show you how the final outlook is. For the buttonhole, I'm going to be placing the buttonhole here at these 2 points at the part that has the word pocket. So I'm going to put some of my button here. So it's going to be covering up this way. You get. So this is how our jacket turned out to be. Very beautiful. The neck perfect. Everything's looking beautiful. Please let me know if you're going to be creating this style. Let me know in the comment section. You can also tag me on Instagram at Glorious Sewing on Instagram, and I'll be glad to receive your messages. Until then, remain blessed, and I'll see you in my next class. Bye bye.